What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NBA DFS video. It is Sunday. It is March 2nd. We are back. Today we have NBA, and we also have some NASCAR today. So we've got both of those for you. If you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently. Anytime we have 5 games on the slate, we give you 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. Top plays make sense. Mid-tier picks, at least on DraftKings, we're looking about 8K or below. And then our value plays. Value plays will change throughout the day. A ton of players have questionable tags. In or out, that'll bump up some value. So, looking at those, we give you those in this video right here after 10,000 simulations. We try to have giveaways every single day. You guys absolutely killed it in yesterday's video. Over 1,200 views. We had over 100 likes, which has not happened in a very long time, and you guys know what that means. So we have giveaways. Here's how to win. One way to win, there'll be a keyword or key phrase. Listen for it, type it in, and have a chance at a free week of FTA+. Second way, like this video, be a subscriber to the channel, and leave a comment for the comment picker to pick you up. It's that simple. You view the video. If you enjoy it a little bit, leave a comment to try and win. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you will have a chance at a free week of FTA+. That is every sport we offer. We are FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, not Fantasy Team Advice. So if you want to sign up, click the link in the description of this video for this article right here. Or you can always email me. But we have giveaways hopefully every day. If this video gets 100 likes on the video like yesterday's video, we will give away a free month of FTA+. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes, a chance at a lifetime pass. And today is the last day to get the $75 for a year pass. It's normally $199, so if you want to get it, email me. Today is the last day. dfshelp1@gmail.com. You can get the yearly pass for $75 instead of $199.99. So like I said, we're going to have the giveaway real quick. You guys absolutely killed it yesterday. So even if the keyword is in this first one, we're still going to re-roll it. This is for getting 100 likes on it. Mr. 1MT23, I think this is the first time that I've seen this comment, so congratulations. Email me. You have won a free month of FTA+, a $30 value. So email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and congratulations yet again. Now, the keyword was flow. Now, we'll re-roll it. Still has a chance to be picked again there. So hands up, so you know it's all random. And the winner of the keyword is Lionheart3795. Congratulations. We are ready. So congratulations, Lionheart. Email me, and we'll get you set up for your free week of FTA+. Now, at the end of the video, we'll build a DraftKings lineup and a FanDuel lineup, early tournament lineups using the information that we have. So kind of the strategy behind it, like I already alluded to with the values, you're going to have value plays open up. We're looking a minimum that you need when building any player, about 6.5 times value pretty much across the board, unless we find that, you know, random player that's going to now play 30 minutes and they're a $3,200 player, something like that, and they get 10 times value. That's where we can differentiate ourselves. So looking at, I mean, we got some earlier games in the day, but looking at the main slate, which we're going to break down, we don't have the early slate. We're going to break down the main slate. We've got the Knicks at Miami. The Knicks are 5.5 point favorite, 224.5. Toronto at Orlando. Orlando being a 6.5 point favorite, 211.5. OKC versus San Antonio. OKC 13.5 point favorites right now against San Antonio, 238.5 over under. So when it's a huge, like, potential blowout, double-digit blowout, that's where, like, SGA, who's probably at the moment my favorite player for this slate, they might sit. That's the only thing that, if it follows what Vegas thinks it's going to do, that's where we could have a problem. You've got New Orleans at Utah. New Orleans 5.5 point favorite, 232.5 over under. Minnesota at Phoenix. Phoenix only 1.5 point favorite, so a good game, hopefully 227.5. And then LA versus LA, 8:30. The Lakers are 2.5 point favorites, over under of 220.5. So that being said, we're going to go over some of them. Obviously, the higher over unders you want to look at, that's where you're at. So if this is not your cup of tea, you don't need to comment, but thank you for the
I had one person comment in yesterday's video that this was not helpful at all. They have TikTok brain. And I've seen that. In my dashboard, I can see 10 comments that they left on the channel. None were positive, and all were basically, I can't sit through a 20-minute video to help out. I need the plays now. Me hit rock, basically is what it was. So, that being said, it's a little bit longer video. We go in more in depth. We're trying to make you a better DFS player, not just give you the cheat sheet. Okay? Because that's not how you become a more profitable DFS player. So, looking at this, point guard position, we have a guy at the top. As of right now, I love SGA. We've got him right around 54 to 56 fantasy points, 19 DVP against San Antonio. So Luka has a questionable tag on him. So Luka is questionable with maybe calf management. I don't think he's missed a game since the All-Star break once he started going. So they could see this as let's hold him back a little bit. We'll definitely see. But I've got him number 2, about 52 to 55 fantasy points. And James Harden in the other side of that game, about 47 to 50 fantasy point range. Now, like I mentioned earlier, when we're looking at mid-tier, we're looking usually mid-tier. I'm saying 8,000 or below on DraftKings is kind of where I start out at. So mid-tier here, depending on where you're at and which website you're on, I don't mind Austin Reeves, about 35 fantasy points. CJ McCollum, I find myself putting in all my early lineups, so I really like him. 30th DVP, so number 1 DVP for him. Pace of play is good. The over-under's high on this slate. CJ McCollum might be that dude at 6,800, 33 to 36 fantasy points. And then we've got Keontae George going him against New Orleans. Flip side of that game, 21st DVP, 32 to 35 fantasy points. Then we move to value. That's about 4K or below, what I look for early in this range. Casey Wallace down. Rob Dillingham, if he gets the minutes, I love him at 3,900. It just depends. I got him about 18 fantasy points. Gabe Vincent, I don't know if he's going to get the minutes. That's the problem. I've got about 18 as well. And then Casey Wallace against San Antonio, about 18 to 22 fantasy point range. The minutes, that's the value you're going to need. Minimum 20 minutes. So when you're projecting out or looking at simulations, look for a minimum of 20 minutes is what I would deem essential, unless the player you pick, who is a value pick, can get you 1.2 plus fantasy points per minute. Kind of where I'd look at there. Okay, so looking at shooting guard at the top, we get Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, 45 to 48 fantasy points. A fantastic matchup for him against Phoenix. 29th DVP, perfect in a great matchup, high over under there. Devin Booker against Minnesota in that same game, 11th DVP for him, 42 to 45, and you save $200. Then Trey Murphy III against Utah, 28th DVP, 38 to 42 fantasy points. So then we move down. I mean, we're not much. You got to find the players that aren't hurt, but RJ Barrett, right around 35 fantasy points. Norman Powell, who is currently questionable, looking about 34 fantasy points. Colin Sexton against New Orleans, 21st DVP, 29 to 32 fantasy points. Then we come down the list here, right around that 4K mark, depending, or under 5K, I should say. Chris Dunn, we're looking about 24 fantasy points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, about 24 fantasy points. And he's got 29 DVP. And Jordan Hawkins, 28 DVP against Utah. If he gets in that game and gets enough minutes, we're looking about 22 to 25 fantasy points himself. So now we move to the small forward position. We are looking at LeBron James is going to have the questionable tag every single day. Most likely, unless he's ruled out early, he's going to play. Great matchup, under 10K against the other LA team. 28th DVP, 48 to 52 fantasy points. We've got Kevin Durant, 42 to 45. Franz Wagner against Toronto, 19th DVP, about 39 to 42. Mid-tier. We're coming down the list to mid-tier in this range here. We've got Jalen Williams against San Antonio, 23rd DVP, 37 to 40 fantasy points. Kawhi Leonard against the Lakers, 26 DVP, 36 to 40. Jaden McDaniels against Phoenix, not the best matchup for him, 3rd DVP, 33 to 36 fantasy points. Now, again, these are early simulations. Things can and will change throughout the day. When we build our lineups here at the end, it's not a finalized lineup by any means. I wanted to put that there. And then when we get down here under 5K and trying to pick some players, you got Aaron Wiggins against San Antonio, about 25 to 28 fantasy points, 23rd DVP. We got Nickeil Alexander-Walker against Phoenix, 29th DVP, 23 to 26. We got Royce O'Neal against Minnesota, depending if he plays. Grayson Allen does have a questionable tag, so maybe he'll get a little bit more run there. We'll obviously definitely see 22 to 25 fantasy points. All right, moving to the power forward position. Right now, we've got Zion, 42 to 45 fantasy points. Paolo Banchero against Toronto, 18 DVP, 39 to 42. You got Naz Reid. I kind of like him both sides. He's getting up there in price. It's wild because I'm pretty sure last year we saw him at like 5K. But obviously Karl Anthony Towns leaving will bump him up a little bit. Going up against Phoenix, 29 DVP, 39 to 42 fantasy points as well. Mid-tier, depending where you're looking. Questionable right now. Julius Randle. I don't know if he'll... Let's see. Yeah, he hasn't stepped on the court 10 minutes. Yeah. I'm out on Julius Randle. I don't think he's got it. So, OG Anunoby, we're looking against Miami, 22nd DVP, so we're looking about 28 to 30 fantasy point range. Jeremy Sokin, about 26 fantasy points, kind of on the low end at 5,800. Bull, 30th DVP, so a great matchup for him if he gets the minutes, 26 to 30. And then value if you're at power forward, depending on where you want to go here. Harrison Barnes, about 22 fantasy points. Carlo Matikovic, about 21 to 24. And then we've got Jonathan Mogbo, about 22 fantasy points at 4,500. And then we get to the final center position. But we do have NASCAR today. So the key word is boogity. Make sure you check that out. Also, the article that we looked at earlier, that is down below. And our free Discord where we help each other out. On top of that, we have core plays and value plays for both FanDuel and DraftKings. Absolutely free. Go check the Discord out. And we have people that will help you if you have questions, and they're there. They're huge support, and it's been awesome what they bring to the table. So then we get to the center position. Karl Anthony Towns is at the top. I've got him right around 45 to 48 fantasy points. We've got Ivica Zubac going up against the other LA team, 36 to 40. Walker Kessler against New Orleans, about 34 to 38 fantasy points. Mid-tier, Isaiah Hartenstein, I am looking at, I'm looking right around 30 to 34 fantasy points. Jacob Poeltl, right around 30 to 34. And then we got Kel'el Ware going up against the Knicks, 26 to 30 range himself. Then if you're the crazy type cat that goes down here and cheaper options at center, we got Missy there against Utah, 29 DVP, 23 to 28. Nick Richards against Minnesota, 22 to 25. And finally, Bismack Biyombo, if he gets the minutes, watch out, it is a back-to-back. I don't know if that'll affect him. Right around 21 to 24 fantasy points. So there you have it. Those are some of the early projections. If you want to see some more, we've got in the article right here. If you want to see everything under the NBA tab, Vegas odds, pace of play, bets if we have them for the night. You've got you got NBA points allowed by position. You got NBA DFS chalk, DraftKings simulations, FanDuel simulations, DraftKings projections, and FanDuel's projections as well. So we've got them all there. It's $10 for a week. It is $30 for a month. And currently, right now, if you email me with Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, instead of $199 for a year, you can get it for $75 using one of those three methods. That is that. So, that being said, we are now going to build a DraftKings lineup. So, depending on, now again, these are early projections and early simulations. So, and I've had some people take these lineups and then slightly make their own update to them. And then one of you guys won 20,000. Would have been, it was actually a year ago, last year, which is wild to think about. But let's build a tournament lineup here that hopefully will be able to help you bring home the bacon, or a good starting point, I should say. So, you can pay up for SGA, you can pay up for other positions, or you can kind of go and try to build more of a balanced lineup. So obviously we paid $9,000 for Anthony Edwards, and the other one, $4,900, $6,700. So kind of, this isn't a boomer bust lineup. It's not a stars and scrubs lineup either. It's kind of in the middle, I would say. So it's a more of a balanced approach. You've got a couple of sub 5K plays. You paid up at a couple other positions, and then we were able to go in different directions there. So then we got 5,300 left for a utility. So if we want to look at, depending, you could go Dante DiVincenzo, you could go Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter Jr., if you wanted to see who might be in store for a better matchup. So if you're looking at those three, and you look at our projections, you can see the DVP. But DiVincenzo, 20th DVP, projected early at about 26 fantasy points. Cole Anthony, 25 to 28, 26 DVP, 5,300, a great matchup. And then Wendell Carter, 25, kind of the same range, 27th DVP as well. If I were going somewhere, and then you break it down. So then you look at the splits. What have the minutes been? What has he done against this said team? 31.5 last time he played. Game log, playing 20-plus minutes in a game. It's kind of what I want there. So that is my mindset, how I start to build certain websites, or certain lineups that we start to think about. So I'm entering that lineup. I've already built the FanDuel one for you. So I did pay up for SGA, and I did pay up for Naz Reid. And then CJ McCollum is a pay up, and then everything else is under 6K. Some are even under 5K. So just different ways to go about building different lineups. The core plays are a little bit different from DraftKings to FanDuel because the pricing's different. So they've obviously got the same DVP depending on how the scoring is. It might differ a little bit. But then it comes down to like some pricing, especially with football. What I would see on like FanDuel or DraftKings, and then I would go over and I'd build the lineup for you, or I'd build the lineup with you guys in the video. The Yahoo pricing, wild, so wild. Like Saquon in one of them was like $60, which is a monster number for you. So that being said, there's your lineups. There's the breakdown. It's today, while supplies last. Only a certain amount of people can get it because we don't want to be flooded too much. We've got open spots for a yearly pass for $75. Email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. That is what I've got in this video. Make sure you check out all the content we're about to hit, maybe right here or in the corners. Check out the playlist from, I would say, probably June of our MLB season. Look how we dialed it in those videos, 45-minute videos a day, but we broke down every single game, including the pitchers and the batters that you would like to face and everything. So go check that out. Go check out our collab with FTA is Filebach. We've already put a video out. I'm going to put that there, and go buy some merch from them as well. So that is what I've got. Let's have a great Sunday. Make sure not only NBA, but depending on when you're watching this video, you can check out our NASCAR content as well. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, not FantasyTeamAdvice.com. Good luck, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!